thousands of Palestinians massed near the checkpoint waiting to go back to their homes in northern Gaza. Israel says it will not allow members of Hamas to return, but Israeli analysts say most are not being checked, and it is likely there are members of Hamas in the crowd.
Today marks the first full work week for Pete Hegseth as the nation's new defense secretary. Correspondent Cammie McCormick.
Hegseth told reporters that there will be more executive orders coming today. They will include, he said, removing DEI programs at the Pentagon, reinstating troops pushed out because of COVID mandates, and an Iron Dome for America. And he spoke of the orders to send troops to the border and assisting with deportations, saying that is something the Defense Department will absolutely continue to do.
Environmental advocates are blasting the Trump administration for withdrawing from a Biden-era proposal to limit forever chemicals from drinking water. Adrian Esposito is with the Citizens Campaign.
This rule would have caused industry to participate in reducing PFAS, and instead it sends a signal to industry: you can poison us as much as you want.
PFAS have been linked to cancer, immune suppression, and developmental issues. Heavy rain has triggered flooding and mud flows in Southern California, where crews have just gotten a handle on this month's devastating wildfires. CBS meteorologist Nikki Nolan.
We are tracking a low-pressure system that is delivering rain to the southwest region of the U.S., including the burn scar areas in Southern California. A flood watch remains in effect for the Hughes Fire burn area.
Public schools in Malibu are closed today because of dangerous road conditions. Unusual winter weather that swept the South last week has led to a shortage of rock salt. Ted Pyle owns several hardware stores in southern West Virginia.
The amount of salt sold has been pretty minimal compared to what has happened this year. I mean, we've got a lot more snow. It's been a lot colder, and we've got repeated snows. That's created the shortage in supply.
China's DeepSeek AI is sending stocks reeling. The app's soaring popularity with its ability to match cutting-edge chatbots using a fraction of specialized computer chips. U.S. chip maker NVIDIA down more than 12% at the start of the trading day. Right now, the tech-heavy NAS is off 539. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month, and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Chip Walters here with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. I was named a top 10 agent in the #1 Exit Realty office in America in 2021. The top question I get around town, how's the market? Good question. And the answer's changed a few times this year alone. I'd like to know what you've heard and share some solid data we have. Give me a call and let's have a cup of coffee and take a look at what's happening in your neighborhood. All my contact info is right on my website, choosechip.net. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Well, good morning and welcome into the Roundtable. Brian Barrett with a special guest, Andy Herzer. Wait, I thought Andy Herzer was the Monday guest or Monday host. What's happening?
Well, you rounded me into this, and what I know now is your job is not as easy as it looks, or as easy as you make it look.
Well, I don't know,
but again, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of all this.
Well, it's fun. I kind of think that it's somehow in your blood a little bit, like getting to speak and be in front of people and talk about your passions.
Well, growing up, I stuttered.
Oh, yeah.
I was dyslexic. I was one of those troubled child in school. So, Brian, it was not easy for me, but thankful that my parents really discovered my problem early, got it fixed, and every now and then my wife will look at me when I say some word and she knows I just made it up. So, I still have those issues. We call it the Herzer thing. But yeah, it was not fun growing up in elementary school for me. I was in summer school all the time while all my buddies were out playing. I was there trying to fix my dyslexic tendency of the brain.
Now, was that before we really understood how to treat that?
Well, let's just be honest. In when I was 5-6 years old, that was 1967, 68. The local school, which was IUPUI Fort Wayne, they had me doing a lot of different stuff. They, the old projector, they would do the flashcards. I'd have to draw it. And so it was just really kind of reprogramming my brain as much as they did. And, yeah, it was unique.
It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, because today, my daughter-in-law, for instance, but she is dyslexic, but they diagnosed that really early on and knew exactly how to treat. And it's, I guess, a lot easier than it would have been in the late 60s.
Yeah. And, it's one of those things. By the time I got to college, I was caught up with my reading comprehension. That's the biggest thing I think that you struggle with when you're dyslexic. But again, thankful for my parents that pushed me to do those things. And I mean, I had to shut the door. I couldn't have distractions. So I studied differently than a lot of people. And even in college, I highlighted what I read, went back and outlined what I read. And so, I had extra steps in there that I had to take, but, all came through.
Yeah. Myself, I was an auditory learner, and I figured out in college, and I guess because I was here and had access to, like cassette recorders at that time, that if I recorded the notes of me reading them, wherever I was, I could listen to them, and I was able to comprehend that better than sitting down and reading. My problem is having enough, sit still and take a test and learn, and, I've got to go all the time. So
I think what we really still don't all understand is I think everybody learns differently. I've learned that through doing First Shot.
Sure.
How all these kids learn differently. Some learn by sight, some learn by the verbal command, so everybody's different. And I think when you recognize that and can teach to that, you
have to figure that out on the fly, I guess. And, let's talk a little bit about that. Andy is, of course, the president and CEO. Is that what it is?
Well,
or
executive director.
Okay.
And founder.
Founder.
It was a dream, that God put on my heart. And, back in 1978, I'm just coming off my sophomore year of playing high school basketball, varsity basketball. Started my freshman and sophomore years, starting to get better and better. And my head coach comes to us and says, hey, I've been invited to come to work camp at North Carolina, and we can bring a couple of players. So I go home with the brochure, knowing that my parents were going to say yes, but they said no. They looked at me and they said, hey, your brother Matt's graduating high school. He's going to go to college next year, and we're having to figure out how to pay for it. And so I, again, go into my mode of trying to get it through. I said, well, I've worked paper routes and I do lawns. I'll pay for it. They said, no, that's your college money. And I looked at him. I said, well, I'm going to get a college basketball scholarship. My parents said, no, that's for college, and you're not spending it. And so I, like a 16-year-old would, I threw the brochure down, stormed off mad, probably muttered a few words underneath my breath that I shouldn't have. But at that table that night, there was a guy named Roger Gordon and his wife, Betty. Now, we called him Uncle and Aunt Betty and Uncle Raj, but they weren't. They were just my dad's growing up best friend. And so that next morning, Roger, who was the sports editor of the local paper, rolls up in his brand new Lincoln town car, bright yellow. Never forget the color for some reason. I don't know why. Window comes down, Brian, and a cloud of smoke comes out because he's a cigarette smoker, and I'm going. And he goes, get in. Well, I got in because back then you did what adults told you to do.
And that was Uncle, right?
And that was Uncle Roger. I get in the car and we take off. I'm only about 3-4 blocks. I'm not, I went miles away from the high school, but I knew I was going to smell like a cigarette all day. And I was just, I just didn't want to smell like a cigarette. So we get in. He hands me the brochure. It's all filled out. And he goes, and there was 2 checks inside. I'll never forget. And he looked at me and said, Andy, Aunt Betty and I are going to pay for you to go camp the next 2 years. We believe that you have a chance to play college basketball. Now, I was mad that my parents didn't believe that.
Yeah, well.
But they were protecting me as I grew older.
Sure.
But, again, here's
trying to keep expectations, realistic, I guess, maybe.
And all of it, I mean, for them. Because they, my older brother, he wasn't an athlete, so they've never experienced any of this. Well, I go to the North Carolina basketball school. We're there, me and my teammate. My teammate was really good. I mean, there's a reason why I have the assist record still at Garrett High School. It's because of that dude.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. He catch the ball, we got 2. And so it was, we went down there. We ran a motion offense. So we're in there the first day in camp together, and we're screening and back screening and cutting open and moving and, catches the guy's eye. Well, the guy that was running the camp, that gym was Roy Williams. And so he had, we were with Coach Williams for 2 years in that gym at Carolina camp because we went back the next year. And his best friend was my college basketball coach, Jerry Green. And a lot of you know Jerry Green. He coached at Oregon, coached at Kansas as an assistant. Then he came to UT as the head coach. And Coach Green signed me sight unseen. His first year he had taken over. And so I had a lot of things, a lot of people along the way that gave me opportunities, first shots. Jerry Green hired me back into coaching, gave me a shot at being a college basketball coach. And again, because of all that, all those men that gave me the first shot, from my dad allowing Roger and Betty to pay for me to come to camp, to being taken there 2 years by my head coach, Larry Piety, that he took time away from his family to take me so I could fulfill my dreams, right?
Yeah.
So all these men helped me along the way. Coach Williams with Jerry Green back into it. And, a lot of people don't understand. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think God had his hand in it. I think God knew exactly what he was doing. And, that's what put the ball in motion for first shot. And, you've been a part of it with your son Dalton, and we're different. I would say we're a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because the spiritual side, I found is the most important side, and So first shot and starting to teach God's word, that made me get more into the Bible and learn God's word. So it's been a double-edged sword for me. It's grown me as a man. And but again, First Shot has given opportunities for kids just like me to have the opportunity to grow their skills. And
what I just heard from you, it was like giving kids their first shot, maybe their only shot at whatever, because First Shot has grown for more than just basketball too, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, for our camps that we partner with the Parks and Rec department, you know, it's art, music, dance, soccer, basketball, character class. So, you know, I think when I look at it, how it's organically grown over the 21 years of doing it now, is that it's grown like I've grown, right? God continues to place people into my life that continue to help us, you know, grow this thing. And it's not just about their first shot. It's not about winning, you know, but I do think that we've got stuff wrong. You know, it says in the Bible, everybody runs the race, but only one wins the prize. Train as if you're going to win the prize. See, we have it backwards. We give everybody a prize, and we wonder why, you know, our kids are failing and breaking down.
Yeah.
Because they don't learn disappointment. I remember getting, you know, third place. Well, I hated that third place trophy. It was a joke. Right, I wanted the first place trophy was taller than me, and so again, we give everybody a trophy in America now, and when they don't get what they want, they pick their toys up and leave. And I think we're teaching bad things through sports when we should be teaching good things.
Yeah, I see it all too often in high school sports here, you know. If you don't like the coach, don't like the way this works or that works, well, like you said, I'm going to pick up my things and go somewhere else. You know, there was a kid that played in Rutherford County last year, didn't like the situation, got into some trouble, goes to another place, actually has a team picture taken in another county, and then is back at another county school playing this year. And it's like, there's a little something wrong with that whole picture.
Well, you know, I'm not saying coaching is perfect today.
Well, sure.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure there.
Yep. And they have some hand in this as well.
Right.
But I think most of it is you can see it every week, every Saturday when we go to play our games. I give them a warning not to coach from the sidelines. Well, they can't get it that here they're yelling and screaming, shoot it, Johnny, shoot it, Johnny. And we're talking to him. They're 5 and 6 and 7 years old. They can't they can't comprehend all that's coming at them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why they break down and have fits. Well, we do it to them. And you know,
and what's the voice that Johnny's going to listen to? The voice that he's been listening to since he was born.
Well,
you know?
you would hope.
You hear. I mean, that's
the
at least
authority
here. Yeah.
in his
Sure.
ear. And that's for sure. And that's what I tell them, you know. And if you want to coach, there's a difference. You know, coaching is pass the ball, Johnny, pass it, versus great pass, Johnny. I mean, it's just a flip of the switch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's after they do something. Well, they want them all to work and hustle, right? You can hear them on the sideline, hustle. And I said, you guys, that's coaching. You want to come coach, come down. You know, and the grandparents are just as bad, if not worse. But, you know, it's funny how it has evolved again, giving kids opportunities. You know, I saw one the other day. He goes, Coach, when I hear Coach Andy, I know he'd been in First Shot. And he gets up, and we're out having a meal at Champy's, and so I like their catfish down there. So my wife and I are down there eating. He gets up, gives me a big hug. Man, I'll never forget this, Coach Andy. And, you know, it's just God gives me glimpses of what we are doing is working. And again, it's because we're teaching God's word.
I often think about in doing high school games, and I know of a certain situation that is going on right now, and it happens all too much. But the adversity that comes with playing sport, you put in years of hard work, practice, go to camps, all of this. You're doing well. You're a sophomore. You get in. You work. You find yourself working really hard in JV. You get a chance on varsity. And that chance on varsity, things are going well. You're playing every quarter, and then all of a sudden, bang, injury, out for the season. That's the adversity that sometimes is hard to overcome unless you've had a good base. And I think First Shot kind of does that for kids, to give them a grounding base, and that being a spiritual base.
Well, not just, it's both. I think, it's a balance, Brian, of teaching God's word, teaching the basketball skills. I'm more of a skills guy. We stop and we're teaching not to travel, not to double dribble, but we're stopping and correcting it in games instead of just allowing the whistle to blow, and they never understand completely why what they're doing is wrong. So again, it's just going back to you could hear it, and as long as you heard it, you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to show it.
Sure.
Some
showing
people are
and hearing, that
learners.
helps to put it all together sometimes too,
And then, end of the day, I've told some parents that, their child needs to find a better gym because they're a way better basketball player and they need to compete at a higher level. I have no, reservation to tell parents how they should help their child, even when it doesn't benefit me by them leaving, right? So, again, it's been a great 21-year ride, and I hope I can do it for another 10 or 15.
Yeah. So, First Shot, I guess Winter League is going on now?
Yep, halfway through.
Halfway already?
I mean, we're at the end of the month.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah, this weekend's February.
That's true. Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's gone so quickly. So, First Shot is more than just Winter League. I mean, that's kind of how things started, right? But
no. That was I did my first camp, partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. We did that for a couple of years, and then someone said, "Hey, Andy, there's a lot of kids over at Patterson Park that could use your camp." Boys and Girls Club got their staff. Why don't you come partner over here as Dr. Linda Gilbert? We got that going, and Bird and all them. That was my first group of guys in that were really good basketball players, and we kind of got after it really hard. It was just basketball then, and then I said, "Well, this is really not enough. There's more to life than just basketball for these guys." And so it started to warp and get into different areas, and because everybody's gifted differently.
Sure.
And that's what we've got to help. The benefits of First Shot to me is, a kid that can make better decisions, a kid that's going to give you an honest day's work. We talked about all that, like this year in the Winter League and this year at Patterson, we talked about good work and putting in the good work. And if you put in the good work, you reap a harvest. And that harvest is a reward for your hard work and your good work. And so all biblical stuff. And I think the benefits, again, are all those things. And honest for people growing up and staying here will have a better worker because they'll make better choices. They'll put in an honest day's work. They'll have integrity. All the things that employers want in a person that they're employing. So the benefit's a better worker.
So from Winter League, I know you're busy most of the summer. I mean, it's a 12-month of the year thing, isn't it?
Well, it's year-round.
Yeah.
And obviously the thing that I hate doing most in it is asking people to help support it. We have our annual Sneaker Ball and Jimmy Allen Golf Scramble coming up in April. We have Dr. J coming to speak, and he's one of my favorite all-time players. So
the Dr. J.
The Dr. J. Julius Erving is coming to speak on April 27th, Sunday night. We're hosting it at PCA in the gym there on their campus, and appreciate PCA for allowing us to host it there. It's getting to be where all the places around here are bought up by people that think that it's worth a lot more money than I have to spend on it. So, you know, they've been gracious. But yeah, Dr. J, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet him. You know, it's like I told the guys that helped me get him, is that he's, for me, growing up, it was about that time he was out playing in the ABA and I was in high school. So you're starting to watch those guys and emulate them.
Sure.
And, I think Dr. J was a little before his time. I think he could have played in another era. And when you can do that, you're one of the elites, and he's one of the elites.
So, can you get tickets to that support?
Yeah,
you
can go to our website, click on our sneaker ball. Right now, all we're doing is selling tables. We will have individual tickets later to sell, but if you want to find out more about how you can help sponsor the golf tournament, any of that, golf team, you can call me at 615-631-5312.
And it's firstshottn.org?
Yep, firstshottn.org.
And I guess that has information, too, about, how maybe you can get your kid involved in some of the things going on.
Yeah, and someone, it's like this. Here's what I can say. If you want to help us monthly, you say, I don't have that big check, the corporate check, right? I don't have the $2,500 sponsor table. Well, you can, if you want to help and you want to help our kids grow, you can monthly give 10, 15, 20, whatever God places on your heart. We have a way on that website you can do that. Also, all my contact info is there, and you can call me. Be happy to help you. Help us.
Well, we enjoy getting to hear you on Mondays on this show, and at least once a week with Monty on All Sports Talk. So you've become kind of a radio guy too in there.
Well, I said you used to make fun of Monty that he was a media guy, right? You media guys. When coaches are adverse to media.
Sure.
And I don't know why they are, but now being on this side of it, I can see both sides. And, it's been a fun, I've been doing that radio show with Monty for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I can't believe how quickly it's passed, Brian. I don't know how you look back on your career, but I can't believe I've done First Shot for 21 years. It seems like yesterday we were out there at the Fellowship United Methodist Church on Highway 99 with 30 kids. And now it's over 350. So it's just, it's amazing how God works. And I'm just very thankful and give him the glory.
FirstShotTN.org is where you can find more information on First Shot going on right here in Rutherford County and doing great work there. Andy, we're going to kind of have some other things here on the show today, but we'll, I guess, hear you back here next Monday, right?
Next Monday.
Sounds
I'll be
good.
Here with Kiwanis.
Kiwanis.
Yeah.
Club Kiwanis International. Cool.
Becky Lanham and Missy Lay.
All right.
Will be our guests.
You won't have to talk at all.
I hope not. That's the better show, Brian.
Yeah, right. All right, back with more of the Roundtable here in just a second.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
As a leader in environmental services, sustainability is deeply integrated into our business model. At Middle Point Landfill, we are environmentalists at heart. We use a cutting-edge technology in combination with our deep experience in recycling and waste services to protect our environment and our neighbors. That's our job, and that's our promise. This is Mike Klassen with Middle Point Landfill. We invite you to learn more about us at middlepointlandfill.com. Republic Services. We are sustainability in action.
My grandmother and Ms. Adams were best friends. She said, Betty, you need to come to Adams' place. You'd love it.
We're talking with Betty Kirksey.
They go above and beyond of what their job is. I wish Miss Adams was still living so I could tell her, you were right. It is where I should be, and it's very nice.
I'm Terry Deal. Call me for more information about Adams Place, located at 1927 Memorial Boulevard, across from Walmart.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
I've got pests, bees, buzzing rodents running all through my house. Ants chewing wood, and look, there's a mouse. I'm overrun with pests, but you're gonna be sure, safe and secure. It's the last rites for those pests. Call the best of the best to get rid of your pests.
893-7111. AmeriCare Services Incorporated. Call us today. 893-7111.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. Patronize those mom and pop businesses. Put this on your calendar. The MTSU Groundhog's Day Luncheon is this Friday. That's right, January the 31st. The doors open at 11 o'clock Friday morning, and the 52nd Annual Groundhog Day Lunch is served at 11:30. It's all in the MTSU Student Union Ballroom. Again, the MTSU Groundhog Day Luncheon is this Friday. Also this coming weekend, Alice by Heart continues at the Art Center of Cannon County in neighboring Woodbury. And the Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Phone them and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Phone 800-RED-CROSS. Hey, listen, this Saturday, the Polar Bear Plunge at SportsCom. You get to dive into the outdoor pool at SportsCom. The plunge is at 11 o'clock, but the fun begins at 8 o'clock Saturday morning, right there in the gym at SportsCom. Don't miss the Polar Bear Plunge. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
A blend of clouds and some sunshine developing this afternoon with a high in the upper 40s. Tonight's mainly clear, will cool to a low near 27. High 55 on Tuesday, lots of sun. I'm Laura Lockwood on News Radio WGNS. Right now, 36.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE Sharing Change is funded by members who round up their electric bills to the nearest dollar each month as a donation and support hundreds of local nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Back on the Roundtable here for a Monday, and did an interview recently about the 6th annual Storybook Breakfast presented by MMC Pediatrics. Let's find out more about that special event that's coming up. By Middle Tennessee Electric, and MTE's charitable foundation is Sharing Change, and it's funded by members who round up their electric bills each month to the nearest dollar and support hundreds of nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org. Well, today we are going to be talking about a really cool event that is now in its 6th year. And joining us in conversation today, Lucy Birchfield with the United Way of South Central Tennessee. That's an old habit to break. Do you even have new? Yeah, you've got new name tags and all. Wow.
But it's still hard to say, so.
It is. Do you slip up and do that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. We're going to be talking today about the Storybook Breakfast, and that's always fun. And Dr. Austin Vogel is here with MMC Pediatrics, which is the presenting sponsor. So good to have you both.
Great to be here.
Well, so Lucy, this is a very interesting event that seems to just grow in popularity as year after year.
It really is. And our now CEO and President, Kristen Swan, when she was in a different role at United Way several years ago, this was kind of her inception, her idea. And it really was targeting a different audience. We have a lot of events in this town. I don't think I have to tell anybody that. Right. You could go to one every night if you wanted to. But a lot of them are similar. And this is targeting children and families, and it's bringing literacy to life, which is one of our bold goals, is early childhood education and literacy efforts. And so this event funds the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for Rutherford and Cannon currently. Counties right now, although we do support all the counties in our new footprint. We're the sustaining partner for Rutherford and Cannon. So it's kind of like Disney World meet and greet for your kid's favorite story. So it's larger than life characters, these really cool costumes, and they can come and spend time and visit and take pictures. We have other activities. We have breakfast. We have puppet time from Lombard Library. So it's really just a fun activity for children, family, grandparents, caregivers, anyone to come, especially in the winter when there's not as much fun stuff to do. Get out of the house,
right,
and come bring literacy to life. And we're just so grateful to partner with MMC because we feel like our pediatricians are such a critical role in that relationship of your child's health, and people don't always relate that to literacy, but it's true.
Mm-hmm. What is the date of the event?
So Storybook Breakfast. You just put me on the spot. I'm second guessing myself.
I know, because I don't have it on my list. That's why I thought I would put you on the spot. I've been looking.
No.
I've got it here.
Okay.
No, we have so many events going on. I was about to say Baby Basics, which is February 15th and 16th. I think it's March 1st.
Yes, it is
Okay.
March 1st.
March 1st, Overall
There's
Creek.
going to be 2 entry times, 8:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. Looks like I have here tickets, $15 per person, $60 per household.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
I had all of that except March 1st, and I thought, well, Lucy will surely know. So we did.
Never count on that.
Sometimes that recall,
It is. It's a little slow.
It's in there somewhere. It's just like me, too. So it's the 6th annual event. And Dr. Vogel, I know that MMC Pediatrics is the presenting sponsor, but you all are kind of really hands-on with this event. Why is that?
Absolutely. I think this is a super important event just because it highlights the importance of reading and literacy in our community. I attended last year. My son went as well. We'll both be there this year again. Getting to be there, open up a book, read with the children. It's a really unique and fun experience. There's a lot of really important studies that have been done about reading, and one in particular topic that people talk about a lot of the time is the 1 million word gap, which is something that we basically look at the spoken words that children hear between birth and age 5, and the difference between parents who read daily to their children versus the parents who do not ends up being about 1 million words that children are missing out on hearing over that time period. And it's a really important thing, and something that I hope we can highlight with this event to kind of emphasize the importance of reading and literacy in the community.
Well, when my kids were before they were born and all of that, my wife was a big proponent of that, and it, even reading before they were here, and it's like, okay, well, maybe so. But then, one of the things that we always vowed not to do is to talk like, in a baby voice to them, and you just talk in your normal voice and use words and do a lot of reading. And, I can't get my daughter to shut up, and my son's a pastor, so he doesn't hush either. So, I guess that word recall, but there is something to that. They always seem to be a little more advanced, and things came a little easier to them, even in subjects like math, because, I guess there are studies that show that, but that's just one example for a personal situation.
Absolutely. Reading is the foundation for a lot of the things that they're going to be learning in school, and it's something that if they have a good foundation early, then it's going to serve them well for a long time. I definitely think that this is something that we should be emphasizing as pediatricians, something that I talk to families about on a regular basis, but also excited to kind of partner in the community and emphasize this on a broader scale.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the world that we are in now, because there are some people that where audiobooks, that's how they consume, and they can read but hearing it. I'm an auditory learner, and so it seems to sink in that way. I would used to record on a cassette recorder my notes for class and just listen to them over and over again. So that's how I passed a few tests. But all of that kind of goes hand in hand.
It does, and I think that there's a lot of different ways that you can look at this, and this is another thing that I emphasize to parents a lot of the time is, you may have a family coming in and they're saying, well, my child runs around the room the whole time, they won't even hardly listen to a story, and that's very much to be anticipated. But, even if you could get them to sit there with you for a few seconds and point at the fire truck, point at the dog, and just kind of, work on words and recognition, that is great bonding time, that's great learning time. It doesn't have to be a full 10-minute story that they sit there and listen to, which is probably not going to happen very often.
No, that is definitely the case. But it's a special time. Trust me, from a guy who has a 25 and 22-year-old, you're going to want those moments too together Absolutely. With your kids, and that's always very, very special. The storybook breakfast also, Lucy mentioned, kind of brings the books to life when you have the characters there. That engages the kids a lot more, I would think, and also maybe helps to develop a love for learning and reading.
Absolutely. I think anything we can do to hold their interest, obviously sitting there and reading a chapter book is probably not going to be something that they're super excited about at 2 and 3 years old. But when they can see their favorite characters running around and they can go take a picture with them and, get a hug and that sort of thing, it really kind of emphasizes the impact and the importance and may encourage them to be more interested in reading time.
Yeah. Imagination Library is such a wonderful benefit, and there's really no reason to not be a part of that. I'm sure that's something that you encourage at MMC Pediatrics.
Absolutely. I tell all of my patients about it, and this is something that we get at our house. We get the Dolly Parton books coming all the time, and it's exciting. We just kind of view it as, my son got a piece of mail, and he gets to open it up, and he gets excited to have a new book. And, I think building it into your routine is an important part of it. And so, going ahead and signing up, getting the books delivered to your house, making it a part of your nighttime routine so that your children have an active part in it.
My kids always used to love going to the mailbox, and I told them, I said, when you get older, you're going to hate going to the mailbox because there's nothing but bills. And they're seeing that now. But joining us today from the United Way of South Central Tennessee, Lucy Birchfield and Dr. Austin Vogel with MMC Pediatrics. And the 6th annual Storybook Breakfast presented by MMC Pediatrics is coming up on March 1st, 8:30 and 10 a.m., and it'll be over at Overall Creek Elementary. Lucy, you've done it at Overall Creek for a little bit, haven't you?
It's just a great location for a lot of reasons. For one, the space is kind of exactly what we need. We have breakfast and activities in the cafeteria. We have reading time and story time with our special guests like Dr. Vogel, reading in the hall. And then we have the characters in the gym, and puppet time is in the gym. And, supporting Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is so important because, to piggyback on the research, about the million-word gap, we at United Way want to help parents and children in every way we can. And so when you have something like Storybook bringing it to life, you have something like Imagination Library that's getting books in the home, because we know that having books in the home is critical to overcoming the million-word gap. If you don't have books, you can't read aloud.
Sure.
We also have a program called Born Learning, where we take families and caregivers, and we really teach you how to be your child's first learner, and doing exactly what Dr. Vogel said, making sure even at the grocery store, in the car, you're saying, what color is the light? It's red, it's green. What is this in the grocery store? What does that box say? Da, 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 da. And that really helps kind of come at this issue from all different angles. So this event is just really special. It's very unique, and it's really it's one piece of how we're addressing this issue of literacy and early childhood education. And I can't think of a better way to support it than to bring the kiddos in your life on a winter day when you're all going to be stir crazy, and come and have some good breakfast and have fun with reading. And the kids get so tickled seeing their pediatricians reading because they've never seen them anywhere other than the doctor's office. And so it's exciting for them. It's fun for them to see their doctor up there reading, and it's just a really neat day.
Yeah. You don't hide the syringe or anything, do you?
No secret shots.
No secret shots. Yeah. Those first several years of going to the doctor, I mean, the kids kind of get like, I know what's coming. I don't want to go. So that is kind of neat. I didn't think about it from that perspective. You did mention that this is a fundraiser, but it's really it's a Saturday. You're looking for something to do on a Saturday morning, you get all of the things with it. I mean, you get your breakfast done, you have fun, all that kind of thing. So
absolutely. And currently we have 17,000 children enrolled in the program, and that number is expected to grow, as is postage, as we all know.
Right.
So every year this program gets more and more expensive, which is a problem we love to have, because we want these books in everybody's house. But Dolly, who started the program and we love and adore, she's the queen, but she doesn't pay for the books anymore. So this is a partnership with the Governor's Early Literacy Foundation. So they pay half and we pay half. So that half gets pretty pricey. So this is a really neat way, and that's why we cap it at $60 per family. We know that there's families with lots of kids and there's families with a few kids, and we didn't want one to be able to attend and one be priced out. So we have that $60 cap in hopes that everyone that wants to come can afford to come. If you can't, let us know, because we do have sponsors sometimes that don't use their tickets. So we sometimes have some extra tickets. So just call our office. But this is a great way to serve a lot of needs for the children and for this program. So we really encourage everybody to come and check it out. We promise you'll be back. You won't do it once and never come back. You will come back.
And it's a way to, Dr. Vogel, to, even if your kids are part of Imagination Library, and they get the books, but you have the means to be able to even afford those books, but they're there, it's delivered, it's all part of it, but you can give back, you can help support to keep that program going for those who maybe wouldn't be able to afford it without the United Way.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think about is just, coming together as a community, and me being a part of the community, me being there, like she said, they're seeing their pediatrician in a different way than they may normally see them. But more from my end, it's powerful and meaningful to get to be a part of the community, get to help out and give back to the place where I was raised as well. And so something that I think we can all do to support the community, support the funds that it takes to get these books together and to get them into the homes so that children can have a good start off with reading.
The 6th annual Storybook Breakfast presented by MMC Pediatrics is March 1st. 2 different sessions, 8:30 and 10 a.m. And tickets will go on sale on the website next week.
Absolutely. Just check our website and you'll find all the information you can need, or reach out to us individually.
Absolutely. yourlocaluw.org/storybook. Thank you both for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And if you missed part of the conversation, we'll have the podcast up shortly at wgnsradio.com. Check it out there.
Did you know that participating in Murfreesboro's special census could help bring more funding to our city? Here's Murfreesboro Mayor Shane McFarland.
Cities throughout Tennessee receive approximately $175 per resident. Those dollars shared with us will greatly benefit our community.
Let's make sure Murfreesboro gets its true share. Complete the special census today at murfreesborocensus.com.
Count me in.
Okay, count me in.
And count me in too.
Let's make sure every resident counts. Visit murfreesborocensus.com.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
Fellas, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low testosterone. Don't wait. Get checked by the experts at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients achieve life-changing results with testosterone therapy, or TRT. And for established patients, they offer the convenience of physician-monitored at-home TRT with advanced personalized plans that include both lab testing and self-inject medication. Low T Center makes it easy. Shipping directly to your door. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna.
WGNS. Brian Barrett here with you, and we're going to talk about a very interesting marriage conference that is coming up here in Murfreesboro, and we're going to talk about how you can take part in this, the New Vision Marriage Conference. And joining us from New Vision, one of the pastors at New Vision, Dr. Joseph Bratcher, is here. And Joseph, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Brian, man. It's always excited to be on WGNS, man.
Well, glad to have you along with us. And tell me about this marriage conference. When I think of marriage conferences, it's like, okay, we've got to pack the bags and get arrangements for the kids to go somewhere, and not in this instance, right?
That's correct. For the last few years, we've gone away as a church, to do different retreats. And so what we wanted to do just during this season, during this time, is let's do something that's going to impact our community as much as possible. And so that's what we want to do, is reach out to as many marriages as that we can right here in Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee. And so, for our first time ever, we're hosting our New Vision Marriage Conference right here at the church on March the 7th and 8th. And it's going to be, I think, just a fun weekend. It's going to be a just action-packed weekend for couples, and more than anything else, I think they're going to just walk away refreshed and just being able to go back and into their daily lives and just live totally different with their marriages. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be a great time.
If we don't go, that means someone is coming, and that's Dr. Leslie Parrott and also Dr. Les Parrott. I can't get over Leslie. It's less and less. I mean, how do you go with that?
I know, it's nuts. Somehow it was meant to be, but it's absolutely confusing for the world.
I bet. I can imagine. So good to have you here on the show today. Tell me a little bit about where you're from, what you do. The two of you work together, so that's got to be a marriage stressor in itself, right?
You bet. Well, listen, of course, one of the things that's a delight is that we not only are married for 40 years, but we do work together. And Les is a clinical psychologist, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. And so we have plenty of material for all of our professional examination just in our own marriage, trust me. But we're so excited. It really is our passion, because we're not just professionals saying, let's proclaim these good principles. We're a married couple. We're pilgrims on this journey with every couple that would come to this conference. And we want to make marriage the best it can be for every couple. That's literally our calling that God's given us. And so it's our delight.
40 years, you've got me beat by a few, but working on 26 myself. So, I guess we're kind of the old pros, the veterans, huh?
I love it. Yes. And because we know, how rare is commitment and how precious. And by the way, I just kind of love some of the recent research. I'm kind of a marriage nerd, Les and I. You have to forgive me when I say research, because we value biblical wisdom, but we're also knee deep in all the relationship research. But we know that when your spouse perceives that you are deeply committed to the marriage, that literally is the single biggest gift you can give them. Just that they see. So showing up for a marriage conference, saying yes to a date night together, what an awesome thing to do. To just the act of being all in, what the message sends to your spouse.
Yeah. So from my 26 years, my son recently married a couple of years ago, and some of the things that they're going through as a couple are different than what my wife and I went through as a couple at that age, a couple of decades, after, and it's like, it's totally different. But then, we have the empty nest thing going on too. So, the kids grow up. Marriage is definitely stages. So how do you bring a message to people who are in varying stages of marriage?
Well, I love that you said that. Actually, one of our favorite quotes is, that marriage is falling in love with the same person over and over and over again, right? Because marriage is seasons. But I'm so glad you said this, because what I love about New Vision's vision for this marriage conference is to make it easy to come to, it's accessible, and it's applicable to any age or stage. I mean, if you're engaged, listen, we had a son, our first engagement, our oldest son got engaged on New Year's Day.
Oh.
So, my heart is with engaged couples. Whether you're there or you're like us, it's 40 years plus. This is applicable to couples at every age and stage, because the principles are universal and they're, bathed in biblical wisdom, steeped in research, but all that sounds pretty serious. And let me just tell you, our whole goal is for this to be fun, laughter, a true date night, a shared experience. So we know that you learn the best when you're having the best time. And so all of that is a part of Fight Night.
We are joined here today by Dr. Leslie Parrott and also adults pastor Dr. Joseph Brasher from New Vision. The New Vision Marriage Conference is coming up March 7th and 8th. newvisionlife.com/events, where you can find more information. Congratulations on the engagement. My daughter just got engaged last week at Disney, so they were on a boat and fireworks and the surprise engagement. So, that's pretty cool. So both of my kids are early on in their planning and going with that. But, it's very interesting to see the excitement in young couples, and how do you keep that same excitement going, 10 years into a marriage, 20 years, even 40 years?
Oh, these are good questions, because we don't just want long committed relationships. We want amazing relationships, right? Actually, here's the deal. I mean, I threw out the term Fight Night because this conference, it seems a little counterintuitive. You're like, wait, you want me to come to a date night and this is supposed to be fun and help us to be in love, but also it's called Fight Night? What's up with that? Well, the truth is that every marriage has the inevitable conflicts, and that's one of the things that can be tough, right? About our stories over time. But this is so counterintuitive, but if you know how to navigate conflict when it happens, it honestly has the power to deepen your intimacy more than anything else. So I hope that gives hope to any couple. Maybe some couples are out there going, I feel pretty low right now. This is not our happy or easy season. And so we want to encourage you that, honestly, there are tools that within just a small amount of time can reconnect your hearts. So you feel being connected, right? No matter what the season is, you're in the empty nest season, you're learning how to stay connected, we're not having fireworks at Disney 26 and 40 years in, right?
That's true.
As magical as that is. But there's an attachment and this intimacy that comes from sharing your unfolding story. And when you know how to leverage that the way God kind of designed, that is what makes marriage fun. And even actually, the research shows more satisfying in the later years together, empty nest phase, than it ever was at the beginning when you have the fireworks.
Yeah. I've got to ask about Fight Night. Are either of you wrestling fans? Or, I mean, that's what, I don't know, it's just me, but that's what came to mind in the beginning. And then marriage conference, Fight Night. Well, there probably have been several Fight Nights.
What's going on there, and some couples may have a fight on their way to the conference. We know that. But the truth is, no, the spirit of it is, we know that if you can navigate conflict, that literally moves the dial for couples better than anything else that you can teach them on a skill level. But also, let me just say to all the men listening, that's just a hint that this night will not just be appealing to the women at the conference. We are honoring that guys want to get ready to rumble. They want to have fun. They want to laugh. They want an experience. And so we want them to feel included in this. It won't feel like they don't belong, or they're getting a dose of guilt or blame, or they need to change who they are. They will feel like, wow, this is a place I belong. This is a good place. It helps us grow as a couple. And I feel comfortable and relaxed here.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you this question, because not to say that when I was asked the question, I didn't do the same, but what about the guys who get asked to go and it's the eye roll?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're like, oh, are you really asking this of me? Well, this might be, let me say two things. One is this is not too many days following Valentine's Day. So if you want to win some sweetheart points, you could give this gift to your Valentine. That can always be a project, because the gift says, I want to spend time with you, and I'm open to us growing together, but we just want to let those guys off the hook. We don't want them to be afraid. This is not a place you're going to come in here. You're doing it wrong. Something's wrong with you. This is your fault. You need to change. What you're going to hear is, we identify with you. We validate your experiences. And here's some amazing tools that you can easily use to change how easy it is for you to be connected and stay committed.
Well, the conference is on March 7th and 8th at New Vision. It's the marriage conference featuring Fight Night, Doctors Les and Leslie Parrott. It just makes me laugh every time I think about and saying it, too. Are there, Joseph, any certain ages, and maybe kind of walk us through how this will go together, because that's 2 days. It's a Friday night and a Saturday, I believe. So kind of give us some details.
Yeah. So we want to invite, really, just like what Dr. Leslie's saying, if you are engaged all the way up to empty nester and beyond, right? We want you to come, because there's going to be something for everybody here on this night and this weekend. And so we're going to kick off with that evening prior to the conference. We're going to have our town square going. We're going to have yard games that are going to be available. It's going to be a fun atmosphere. We're going to have photo booths that are going to be available for people to come and get their picture. And then we'll have the Fight Night event. And then we're doing something that's probably really exclusive, and I'm really excited about, is that we're going to have some late night excursions. And so right there around the church, we're going to be able to have our new rooftop will feature some live music. We're going to have trivia and board games will be available for couples. We're going to have s'mores on our town square. And then we're even going to have couples line dancing that'll be available at the church. So it's going to be a great, fun night, all on that Friday night. And I tell couples, listen, you may not be able to make it back for Saturday morning, and I get that. But if you can come on Friday night, get here, you will truly enjoy this evening. But then whenever we do come back on Saturday, we want to speak to those groups. We're going to have some time of worship, and then we're going to just have some breakouts that are going to be available. And it's going to be just a great time to just get in and maybe dig in on some topics, whether you're parenting, again, if you're engaged, if you're a newlywed without kids, right? Those are some of the prime times you just need some encouragement. But we're also going to have a breakout for empty nesters. We're going to have some things that are specific about commitment, romance, all these things that are going to be there to just help you to grow in your marriage. So you're going to walk away with Friday night, some awesome equipping that's going to be there available for you. And then we want Saturday to be community, right? How you can just grow as a couple, no matter what age or stage of life that you're at. So it's going to be a great, just fun weekend. And it's going to be something that I think, again, it's going to be unique to Murfreesboro. It's going to be unique to Middle Tennessee whenever we just bring this all together in this kind of conference setting.
Well, you can find out details at newvisionlife.com/events. The New Vision Marriage Conference featuring Fight Night with Doctors Les and Leslie Parrott. I want to thank you both for joining us today. It's been fun, and Fight night. I love it. I love the idea. I think that name alone is going to get some guys, Dr. Parrott.
I hope so. And if not, maybe that rooftop garden and the promise of dancing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Line dancing. I mean, how many people can say they can line dance at church too, you know? So
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Very good. Glad to have you both with us. Our guests here on the show today have been Dr. Leslie Parrott and adults pastor at New Vision, Dr. Joseph Brasher. I'm Brian Barrett for News Radio WGNS.
WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna.